We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. FX's English teacher explores Evan Marquez's life as a gay high school teacher in Texas, blending humor and critique of educational and LGBTQ issues.
Now, the man who made Fort Lauderdale the world's premier LGBTQ plus destination is stepping away. I have the exclusive interview.
Trump attends a Moms for Liberty event in D.C. where he opposes transgender rights and gender-affirming care while condemning Biden and Harris.
DOJ and 16 states support Catherine Rinroll, who was fired for reading an LGBTQ-themed book. They argue her dismissal reflects broader sex-based discrimination and challenges school policies.
J.D. Vance seeks tech mogul gay billionaire Peter Thiel's support for the Trump campaign, despite Thiel's past disillusionment and Vance's anti-LGBTQ stance.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels. We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, that we now have more than 9.5 million views. More than 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 60 days, and we say thank you. It is Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headline. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ news, you will see it and hear it.
What was that? HOTspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same models of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission? Support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbians, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, HOTspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
So let's begin by meeting tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome Bonnie Builder. She is the premier South Florida bodybuilding drag queen and the forever reigning Mixed Mary's Wilton Manors. A recent graduate of FIU, Bonnie Builder is a trainer and comes to life with a microphone and a spotlight. Welcome back, Bonnie. Wait, you're not Bonnie. You're Kamala.
Correct.
Oh, Lord.
Kamala, so are you or Bonnie going to be at the gathering this evening?
I don't know what that is, but I hear they have a great trivia on Wednesday nights. You should probably check it out.
Kamala, so how is your running mate? How is Mr. Walls today?
He all right. He be chilling, vibing, you know, shooting some b-ball outside the school and doing all that good stuff. He's like one of the coolest white dudes I ever met. No offense. But, you know, he's down with the homies, down with the Brown, which is why I picked him. So that Walls, what's up?
Next up, let's welcome John Hayden. Welcome back, baby boy.
Thank you so much,
brother.
Oh, I love you.
Oh my God, John Hayden, a journalist for 29 years. He is now senior reporter for Out South Florida. You can follow him on Instagram at John Hayden Journalist for breaking news and live reports from community events. John, so the 13th annual Reverse Quinceañera is on September 28th at the venue in Wilton Manors, right? You've been covering this event for years. Tell me what's happening.
You know, it's going to be, well, first off, I tell you, this is one of my favorite events to go to that's on the calendar regularly. It's just, it's always such a fun night. Julian and Wilton Collective put it on. This year it's going to be honoring some of the most well-known drag divas in South Florida, including the one, the only Tiffany Arriaga,
yes,
who just love you, girl. So I can't wait. The 28th, I would say it can't come fast enough, but I've got a cruise in between now and then,
Got it.
so it can come fast enough.
Got it.
Hey, cruise, he means the parking lot.
Right.
Right. Well,
Okay, you know, I'm going to be cruising with my dad. So
Oh, okay.
gross.
All right.
so a little gross. But they will be honoring Kathy Craig. They'll also be honoring Electra. There's got some incredible women that are going to be spotlighted for Julian's reverse quinceañera. And I will be your host. So it's going to be a fabulous time on the 28th at the Manor.
Can I ask,
you and me.
what is a reverse quinceañera?
Well, a regular quinceañera.
I know what that is.
Okay,
The
well then I
15?
would think a reverse is backwards. I don't know. I mean, that's
51? Okay, I get it.
Yes, that's how Julian came up with it. He wanted to do a fundraiser for his birthday, and so on his 51st birthday, he reversed.
Oh, okay. I'm so
it's
smart.
reverse
There you go.
quinceañera.
And this is his what year?
This is the 13th one,
And this is the 13th year.
so
Got it.
he would be 64.
Now that we know that. All right, got it. AARP is there. And now Trini has called me old early in the show, so it's going to be a bad time for Trini. All right.
You're welcome.
Next up, let's welcome anchor Dino Mosquera that has been out hoeing the world for the last 6 weeks, I think, or more. He joined the Miami Gay and Lesbian Film Festival in the late 90s and now serves on the Outshine Film Festival's board of directors. Dino's Cocktails and Cinemas are back. I love Cocktails and Cinemas. So Bonus Track is going to be screening in Miami and Fort Lauderdale on September 24 and 26. Tell me what's happening.
So we are leading to our upcoming Fort Lauderdale, Miami mix edition of the film festival. So in order to promote our festival, we're having these cocktails and cinemas once a month. This time, we're going to have it in both Miami and Fort Lauderdale, the 24th in Miami of September, the 26th in Fort Lauderdale, bonus track. Our festival starts October 17. And this time, for the first time, we'll have it in both cities. So it will be the 17th to the 24th in Fort Lauderdale and the 25th to the 27th in Miami.
Back to back like that?
It's going to be a mix.
Wow.
We're going to be in both counties. So we hope to bring people across the board. And we hope you like it. And this is going to be our first try. So let's make it happen.
Wow, listen, and that'll be here before you know it.
Yeah.
October's, I mean, that's it. I mean, wow. Okay, well, we look forward to it. Make sure that you go to Outshine Film for all the information. Next up, let's welcome TriniDaddy. This artistic talent is a violinist and a pianist with the Miami City Ballet and is a program director for the Seminole Theater Players in Homestead. Trini, you're going to be performing in the ABBA tribute concert. I'm so jealous with the South Florida Symphony on September 14th at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Tell me everything.
Yes, they're having I think it's the official ABBA tribute band is going to be with the South Florida Symphony doing like kind of these full-on orchestral arrangements of it. I music directed Mamma Mia a couple of years ago, and I kind of got more into the ABBA. And I also remember I had the record when I was a kid. It was like that green vinyl with the really
I like how you look at John because John's the oldest one here.
I do. I'm like, you know what I'm talking about, John, where like they're just looks super creepy. And I used to just stare at this album cover, you know. But yeah, it's going to be a really fun time for everybody.
Listen,
so come on out.
And ABBA is like in again, right? Like that song, Gimme, Gimme. Like they play it at all the clubs. Like literally straight up at the Manor, they'll be playing Gimme, Gimme. Like what?
Madonna covered it too with
I just saw
that one
show in
song
London.
that she has.
The ABBA Voyage. The new show. I just saw it, the one with the avatars in London. Amazing.
Okay.
So it's all
My cast went there to just like check it out.
I just saw it last weekend. So
yeah, was it good?
It was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, well,
That's right. And if you love ABBA, you love Kamala. Vote blue.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality. Oh, my mouth just twisted. And the host of the FayWhat show on Mondays at HOTspots Happening Out. Faye, Strength and Solidarity, Confronting Hate Together is at the Pride Center at Equality Park on October 8th. Tell me, what's happening?
Join us for Strength and Solidarity, Confronting Hate Together. This important and free town hall event is open to everyone. Expert panelists will delve into the crucial topic of hate crimes and their impact on our community with a moderated discussion and question and answer about safety and the impact of hate crimes on our community. Time, 6 p.m. Location, the Pride Center at Equality Park. You know, it's in Wilson Manors. Moderator, Tatiana Williams, Executive Director of Trans Inclusive Group. Panelists are going to be Raji Naren Singh, transgender activist, actress, reality TV personality, and Trans Social Board member. Randy Katz, Special Counsel to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida. All right. Justin Houston, Civil Rights Coordinator, FBI, Miami, and Major Renea Peterson, Director of Government Affairs, Broward Sheriff's Office, and Veronica Walker, Assistant State Attorney, Hate Crimes Unit, Broward State Attorney's Office. RSVP today at townhallhatecrime.eventbrite. Food and refreshments will be served, and I will see you then. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community across the world one more time. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse, and our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. Let's begin by queering up the world. Breaking news. Queer News Tonight brings show to Alpine, Europe, September 17th through 26th. Queer News Tonight is the first and world leader in LGBTQ television news. Last year, we brought the queer community shows from the Acropolis, the Greek Isles, Turkey's Ephesus, and the Greek pyramids in Egypt. On September 17th, Queer News Tonight will broadcast from Munich's Gay Oktoberfest and 5 countries in Central Europe. Highlights will include Gay Mad King Ludwig's Cinderella Castle in Bavaria, a broadcast from the Austrian mountain famous for Julie Andrews' opening of the film The Sound of Music. I can't wait for that. A show from the Italian Alps in Bolzano, a special show from Liechtenstein and Switzerland, and much, much more. Queer News Tonight will bring broadcasts for 2 weeks starting September 17th. You don't want to miss it. Next, let's queer up entertainment. English teacher Shatters, conservatism with humor. English Teacher, the latest FX comedy, brings a fresh and provocative perspective to the high school setting, exploring the life of Evan Marquez, a gay English teacher at a Texas high school. Created by Brian Jordan Alvarez, who stars as Evan, directs and writes the series alongside Stephanie Koenig. The show deftly navigates the tumultuous intersection of personal, professional, and political realms within the educational system. The series kicks off with a bang, where Evan is under investigation after a parent reports their kids saw him kiss his former colleague and on and off boyfriend, Malcolm, played by Jordan Firstman, on school grounds. This incident sparks a cascade of comic yet biting commentary on the current state of education and LGBTQ inclusion in schools, highlighting the absurdity of political and personal boundaries within the classroom. Adding a vibrant twist, RuPaul's Drag Race legend Trixie Mattel joins the cast as a drag football coach, aiding the school's football team in a high-stakes, politically charged game. Her role underscores the show's commitment to blending humor with real-world issues. English Teacher arrives as a counter-narrative to conservative groups like Moms for Liberty, who have been vocal against LGBTQ inclusion curricula and critical race theories in schools. With its edgy humor and insightful writing, Alvarez and Koenig's creation not only entertains but also provokes thought about the current educational climate. Catch English Teacher on Mondays at FX or stream on Hulu for a comedy that promises both laughs and reflection.
This is Mr. Marquez. He is here to teach you all about non-binary.
A non-binary person is somebody who does not identify as male or female.
Like a hermaphrodite.
No.
Yes.
Not at all. And that word is not in use anymore, is it?
I don't know.
There you go.
An F?
With grades like this, I'm gonna have to hit the corner, sir.
No vaping, I can smell it.
No, you can't. You're being investigated.
Why doesn't Marky ever get investigated for all that stuff he says?
Well, there he is. Eric Not So Speedy Gonzalez, 1751. Wow.
The kids this year, they're not into being woke anymore.
It's circled back
It's
around.
circled all the way around.
They're saying the R word again.
Aren't we getting behind on the state curriculum here?
A lot of questions for a doctor.
Do you even have a master's? What'd you major in? Ranch?
This job is important to me. I like watching young kids bloom and grow.
Don't say that. It sounds creepy.
Becca, go sit next to Tiffany.
She told me it was offensive to learn Mandarin.
Because you're not Japanese.
I was diagnosed with asymptomatic Tourette's.
What?
It's like Tourette's syndrome, but without any symptoms.
You can't call me Fruit Loop, Marky.
It's just the name of a cereal, buddy.
Then why don't you say Cheerios?
Because there ain't nothing gay about Cheerios.
Special Mercedes-Benz.
First we run.
Are you flat there?
When?
Okay, but it's on Broadway.
This looks so much fun. All right, so I'm one of those people that when people start posting about a show, that's when I put it on my list to watch, right? And all the gay boys are posting about this show, The English Teacher, and I'm surprised. Now, here's the thing. I haven't gotten into like a high school show since Glee. Right? It makes me uncomfortable. I'm too old. And I just like, I don't like that kind of drama. But this is like through the lens of the teacher. Now this I can get with, especially like in Texas, for God's sake. That's our freaking mirror when it comes to a lot of these anti-LGBTQ plus bills and, don't say gay and stuff like that. So I'm interested. You got me. I'm going to watch this.
And he's a Latino gay teacher on top of that. Sign me in. And he has Trixie Mattel. I mean, it's Trixie's world, and we're all living in it.
Was she taking a break? This woman takes a break and works more than anybody. Like, I swear.
For real.
Well, she doesn't work more than the presidential nominee like myself.
No, right, that is true.
And I will say, I love Trixie Mattel. I love gay boys. I love high school teachers. I love comedy and promises and laugh, and I will love making this country a better place. So when election time comes, please remember the name, Kamala.
So will you do a one-on-one interview with me, Madam Vice President?
Yes, and you are somebody I will be happy to sit with and converse with. You're gay, right?
Most days, yeah.
Even better. My first policy, we will abolish heterosexual. One by one. They had it too good for too long.
You are heterosexual, Madam President.
You don't know who I was in high school, which is when this show takes place. Please watch English Teacher on Mondays at FX.
I'm not sure this show really appeals to me that much, but I have a huge crush on Jordan Firstman.
Then you're going to watch it.
So I want to run my hands through his thinning curly hair and just, I love him. And so I will be watching the show just because of that.
Even thinning hair is still hair. Glee was an over-the-top sort of gay fantasy type of how it should have been. Yeah. And that's fine. And, I haven't been on the show in a few months, but I'm glad to see we still do not let a show go by without a RuPaul reference.
Right, yes, that's still in the books even without Al here. Yeah.
That's right, because drag queens should be English teachers is where I stand today.
The football coach is a drag queen.
Yeah, like I don't in Texas, like right in Texas, right? And again, Trixie, you were supposed to be on a break.
Yeah.
And we've been talking more about you since you took your break than any other queen. So make that coin, sis. Make that coin.
She's actually running my campaign. So Trixie, I'll see you soon.
All right, now let's queer up business. And breaking news, Richard Gray, Senior Vice President of Inclusion and Accessibility for Visit Lauderdale, Broward County's tourism arm, is retiring. I broke the story this afternoon on social media. Now, you may not know the name, but if you've lived in or visited Greater Fort Lauderdale any time in the last 3 decades, you've felt his impact. He has traveled the world extolling the virtues of Broward County. Good work if you can get it. Richard sat down with me and talked about the challenges LGBTQ plus tourism faces in Florida and on how Visit Lauderdale maintains its independence. Broward brings in $1.3 billion a year in LGBTQ plus tourism, and he has a marketing budget of more than $1 million. In 1995, his first LGBTQ plus tourism campaign had a slightly smaller budget.
And so we
start with that first marketing initiative. You started work on Broward tourism in 1991. 1995 is when you got that amazing amount of $35,000. And even then you didn't say gay. You had to say rainbow when you started marketing the city, right?
Well, I think it was a question of not having the courage or the confidence at that time in 1995 when we were preparing everything to say the word gay. So we had to start off with baby steps. So we used the word rainbow. That resonated with us. And we launched, the campaign was launched in 1996 and it was titled Immerse Yourself. And I kind of modeled it on Greg Louganis, who used to train at the Aquatic Center here, and of course everyone knows was a major Olympic champion. The image that we used was this man diving into big bubbly swimming pool. I loved it, and so I immediately thought of Greg.
Yeah, he said Greg Louganis approved. Well, we talked for about 35 minutes, and it's simultaneously a history lesson and a look at the future. The things he'd done include world's first marketing campaign to the trans community, plus people with disabilities, literally everyone under the sun. And, he told me about how he grew comfortable reaching out to other communities over time, and his personal journey has really just enriched us all.
He really is. And what a kick I'm sorry to say this, but I got a kick in the stomach when I heard he was retiring, right?
Yeah.
Those are shoes that are unfillable. And my fear is that someone who won't love our community as much as he does takes over that role in the future, Yeah. And Richard is like, no, I am making sure that things are in place before I leave. And, it's like he is Visit Lauderdale. Him and Stacey are so front and center in everything that we do, especially in our community. And you talked about the disabilities. Something that Richard Gray had implemented in Fort Lauderdale Airport is that room to go to, right? If you need to decompress, right? And it's for people that don't have visible disabilities. It could be, disability on the inside. It could be a mental health disability. It could be autism, whatever it is, but something like that also touches the heart, that he's not just, it really is everyone under the sun. I know we want to say it's us, it's LGBTQ plus people under the sun, but he really encompasses everyone.
Yeah, he really does. And he stresses it so much. And because, I first interviewed him in 2019 and for Pride of the Americas, which of course got delayed because of COVID and everything. But, he told me that as he's gone through all this time, he wasn't, necessarily, he was never uncomfortable being gay, but to pioneer and start destination marketing saying, you're gay, you need to come to Fort Lauderdale. That in 1995, that was such a weird concept, because we were in the height of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and nationally, and banning the Federal Marriage Protection Act and all this stuff. And he and his fellow, he's not a one-man band. He has got a great team at Visit Lauderdale, but they had the balls to get out there and say, we're going to go after this. And he was doing it because it was the right thing to do. I'm sure some people came along because it was the profitable thing to do. But for whatever reason, it came through. It happened. And my God, I remember visiting here in the 2000s to get away from Michigan in the winter, and then I eventually moved here because I just fell in love with this place.
Wow.
Wilton Manors. I worked at Channel 7 for 15 years, and so he was the one that got me to come here, and I had no idea who he was.
Right? Did he say anything about when during COVID, not even during COVID, when Equality Florida started telling people to not come here, where they put that travel ban on not coming here because of safety?
Yeah.
And I know that he was super upset about that because of mom and pop's businesses that need that travel tourism money. Did he touch on that at all?
We did talk on it for a moment. It's one of those things that you have to say, there's the rest of Florida and there's Broward County. Certainly some conventions pulled out, and we never know who didn't consider us because of it. But he says you just have to hammer home. We are Fort Lauderdale. We are Greater Fort Lauderdale, and we are, my words, not his, but we are better. We are better than what happens in Tallahassee.
We definitely are. And we're also better because of Richard. We just are. I personally hold him to be a mentor of mine. And, just his advice, his advocacy, his support is something that I will miss. We might be losing you at Visit Lauderdale, but you're stuck with all of us as peers and as colleagues and as people who love you. So I can't wait to see the whole interview. Where can we see the whole interview?
We're going to be posting it on several platforms. I'll have it up on my YouTube channel here in the next day or two, and I'll be putting some clips out there on social media. It's 35 minutes long, but I promise you, it goes by like that. It really does. So you can follow me. Follow me, John Hayden, journalist.
There you go.
Next, let's queer up politics. Trump held fireside chat supporting National Moms for Liberty in D.C. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump took a hard stance against transgender rights during a fireside chat appearance this week at the annual Moms for Liberty event in Washington, D.C. The scandal-plagued organization, known for its campaign to remove LGBTQ identity and racial equity discussions from K-12 education, welcomed Trump as he voiced strong opposition to transgender women participating in women's sports and sought restrictions on gender-affirming healthcare. Trump's speech featured his trademark style, standing and greeting applause to Lee Greenwood's "God Bless the USA," followed by chants of "Trump, Trump, Trump." Seated alongside Moms for Liberty co-founder Tiffany Justice, Trump focused on familiar themes, attacking President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, condemning illegal immigration, and recalling his rise from reality television to the presidency, talking about immigrants crossing the border illegally. Trump said, quote, "Our country is being poisoned, and your schools and your children are suffering greatly because they're going into the classrooms and taking diseases, and they don't even speak English," end quote. Moms for Liberty's 130,000 plus members are predominantly conservative, aligning with Trump's views. Many activist groups consider Moms for Liberty a hate group. The organization has a very difficult 2024 as recent scandals and poor local election results have questioned the group's influence. Additionally, Moms for Liberty's involvement in Project 2025, a controversial conservative strategy document, further complicates Trump's association with the group. As a result, though, this appearance aims to bolster support among Trump's base. It risks aligning moderate voters who view Moms for Liberty activism as extreme. In August, Florida primaries, Moms for Liberty and Ron DeSantis endorsed school board candidates lost more than 80% of their elections. I will say Moms for Liberty and Trump go hand in hand. And I know the initials for Moms for Liberty is MOL. I think it should stand for Moms for Losers, because if they're siding with Trump, by golly, you're going to lose. And if you vote for blue, trust and believe we will disband Moms for Liberty. We will give these moms something else to do. We will put them in the sweatshops or in the fields. I don't care. I am sick of these people on TikTok and other platforms talking about me, Kamala Harris, and siding with this fool. If you are voting for this man, you are a fool. I am saying it clearly. If you are with Moms for Liberty, you are a fool. There is no straddling the fence anymore. I wish it was that way. I wish things were more moderate. I wish things weren't so extreme. But people are showing their true colors. And your color better be blue. Take it.
I was a little taken aback that you were pointing at me while you were saying
that, right?
Well, yeah, I caught it. You know, I know we went through all this in 2016, but I just feel like Trump and his ilk are grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the polling averages are starting to show Kamala in the lead. That's because all polls for the last 3 weeks have been showing her in the lead in most swing states and nationally. So, I mean, I feel like the momentum is with you.
Yeah.
And I believe in you. You give me joy.
Okay, well, relax. And
you know that he's equating poisoning our blood and classes where people don't speak English. The association with the Latino community is just gross. And then to know that Latinos, especially here in South Florida, are supporting this monster, this man.
Venezuelans. Lots of your people.
Yeah,
lots of
Cubans.
Your people.
Yeah, true.
And Cubans. You know, he was at another rally weeks ago where he said that Venezuela is safer than here because all your people have come here and have made this place unsafe and full of drugs. But Venezuelans and Cubans will still vote for him, you know? At the same Moms for Liberty, which again, 180,000, my ass, okay? There's like 8 Moms for Liberty, and they all look the same.
And they will all be in the
They all look the same, all right? And so at the same rally for Moms for Liberty, this is what Trump said, okay? And I laugh, and it's not funny, all right? It really shouldn't be funny, right? It's just, I laugh because it's fear, right? Of my own fear, I think it is, okay? But anyway, this is Trump. Think of it. Your kid goes to school and comes home a few days later with an operation. This is Trump saying this. The school decides what's going to happen with your child. And you know, many of these child 15 years later say, what the hell happened to me? Who did this to me? They say, who did this to me? Trump's words, okay? Trump is literally saying, okay, that kids are being kidnapped from their schools and being forced to have operations, okay? I mean, and the thing is, the reason it's silly, but people believe it. Okay? People believe it. The Trumpsters believe it. They believe that gay teachers have some kind of vaccine that they want to make all kids gay. I mean, they believe it. And these words come out of Trump.
I think it's interesting because I'm always trying to analyze the campaign strategy, because he has reversed a little bit when it comes to abortion.
Yeah.
Because he realized how unpopular it is. I do think that he is kind of spiraling because he really thinks it's a possibility that Kamala's going to win, because he was so sure that he was going to win against Joe Biden. And I was too. I'm like, he probably was going to win. So now he's like, what do I need to change? I need to get some of these voters back, right? So I think that he purposely hasn't gone so much the LGBT route, or the LGB, I should say. And then trans is like, all right, I can get him with the trans because, everybody hates a trans person, So I feel like there's an uptick on the trans rhetoric because he's losing some of the other talking points that he's had. So he's focusing it all on that. And that, of course, is going to energize the Moms for Liberty and some of these other conservative groups, because when in doubt, go for trans. So that's kind of what my take was from watching this. And then the poisoning of the blood, to your point, I mean, I make posts very often saying, and it's not really to offend, well, it is to offend some of you, but I say stupid Cuban. That's going to be my hashtag, because all these Cubans that are out there talking about Fidel Castro and who wants a dictator who would try to interfere in elections are voting for him. And I don't know if any of you are on Only in Dade. That I love Only in Dade. Every time I see this foolishness that's on the streets, I'm like, these are my people. It's my 305 till I die, And
there was even a billboard. There was even a billboard saying for, like, if you ran away from this dictator, you're going to another dictator.
I haven't seen that one. I did. But it's the only time that I see my people, like, in a completely different light when they all go for Trump, and I listen to their reasoning and I'm like, this is so stupid. I'm like, hashtag stupid Cubans, like, please. And that's not to offend any of the ones that are smart enough to realize that we shouldn't be voting for this crap. So
yes, there is a finite population of Cuban people who are voting for Trump. Those are the ones that I wish would see the light of day. But to the larger population that are on my side, I will say I love you, I appreciate you, and I thank you.
Dino,
all right. Next, let's square up social justice. DOJ and 16 states come to support the Georgia teacher fired for reading LGBTQ book. In a significant legal development, the U.S. Department of Justice and 16 state attorneys generals, alongside with the District of Columbia, have filed amicus brief in support of Catherine Rindrell. Rindrell was a Georgia teacher who was dismissed for reading an LGBTQ theme book for her 5th grade class. This case, Rindrell versus Cobb County School District, centers on her firing after reading My Shadow is Purple at Due West Elementary in March 2023. Rindrell's lawsuit filed under Title IX argues her dismissal reflects broader sex-based discrimination. Title IX bans sex discrimination in education, a scope that, according to the Biden administration, includes queer discrimination. The DOJ's brief does not address the merits of Rindrell's Title IX claim, but emphasizes the need to consider the impact of the school's policies on students. It advocates for teachers' right to address discrimination without retaliation and highlights that such cases should be evaluated based on comprehensive evidence. The brief also challenges the school district's divisive concept policies, which censor LGBTQ content. However, the district had used a parent's complaint about the book as justification for Rindrell's suspension and eventual termination. The amicus brief from the states assert that inclusive educational policies foster better outcomes for queer students and critiques the narrow approach of Cobb County's policies. The Cobb County School District maintains that the dismissal was in line with Georgia law and dismisses the critics. I mean, this is Georgia kind of like going after Florida, following the Florida footsteps, and it's just outrageous that some kid just complaining to their teacher will, or their mother will, create all this havoc in the educational system and targeting gay youth and or people that are just talking about life, and somehow she lost her job. So it's a sad state of affairs that we're in.
Listen, teachers need to be paid a whole lot more. I mean, this is just fact, right? What they have to put up with, and then on top of it, you're going to add more shit to their plate. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. Catherine Rindorl, I'm sorry if I'm not saying your name right. You're a freaking warrior. Okay, you are a warrior. You will find the next job. It is time for you to leave that school. All right, just take it like that. Because the story is about a little boy who loves all things princesses and queens. That's it. A 6-year-old boy. That's what the story is about. My shadow is purple. Okay, she's a warrior, and she stepped out, and she thought that this story was okay for these kids, right? And now she's lost her job because of it. Like I said, things have an expiration like milk. This was the expiration to your job. Move on and, call it a day. These people don't deserve you.
I'm going to draw a contrast here.
Please.
That is ugly and sad and has me so mad at this moment. So while Georgia, Cobb County is a suburb of Atlanta, is prioritizing firing teachers who dare to admit that queer people exist, that are telling or allowing their kids to know that queer people exist. This is the priority of Georgia. Now, another suburban county just outside of Atlanta today is dealing with a mass shooting. 4 people are dead. At least the most recent update says 9 are wounded and in the hospital. And the suspect has been arrested, a 14-year-old boy. This is a high school near where this teacher happened. That's their priority. It's don't say gay, fire anyone who dares to think gay. But meanwhile, rather than do anything about guns, anything about guns, it's more efficient to these kids are traumatized no matter what from here out, but to do duck under your desk drills, to learn how to do emergency evacuations, not for a fire, but if there's a shooter. Those are the priorities of Georgia and Florida and Texas and many other states. Fire the gays, fire the allies. But mass shootings, we'll just move on.
We'll deal with that later. Who cares?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll arm teachers, we'll somehow, get away with, arming teachers, making kids going through basically war camp, basically to go to school, basically. This is how they pretend to go around this problem. In the meantime, let's fire on a good teacher that just happened to be reading to her students, which is what every teacher does.
Look, school just started here a couple of weeks ago here in South Florida, and they have implemented those things to check the metal detectors in almost every school in freaking Miami. Okay, but God forbid we say gay.
Yeah, I think they're 2 separate issues.
Of course they are.
But so getting back to her case, I don't know what her motivation was. If her what exactly the context was. If it was that she knew that she was not supposed to be reading this book and she decided to do it as an act of rebellion to get the media attention, bravo to you. I wasn't sure what that book was covering, but you just, talked about that all it is a boy who tends to like feminine things, something like that, to that effect, right? So I can tell you as somebody who has taught for 20 plus years and just teaching a bunch of 5-year-olds for the entire summer, you get a good hunch of like which of your kids are gay, and you don't ever really address it, and you also find that some kids gravitate to you more than others. Not that I have ever even talked about my sexuality, in the classroom, but when you see sometimes kids getting bullied over something and you say, what way can I send a message to the rest of the students? Like, hey, we should be a lot more forgiving, inclusive, like just not
without
making fun of
targeting that
people.
kid by name.
Exactly.
Without saying, stop bullying Billy because he's
exactly.
feminine.
And so that's one of the strategies of just reading some kind of book or having some kind of lesson where we say, hey, look, everybody's a little different. You know, you've got your quirks, because they don't really even know sexuality, you know, at that age. They just know that people are kind of different and it makes you feel a little weird. And it's like, all right, well, how do we tackle this situation? And I think that's probably the perfect way to do it. Yeah. I don't know if in that purple shadow it even says the word gay in it or anything. It might just talk about, you know, things that people, little boys like or little girls like, and it's more than one thing. It's more than sports and cars. Yeah. You know, so I think that the bigger issue should be looking at what is considered contraband in the school and what's reading it, you know, in the libraries and all of that. And I think that book, I hope the author comes out and does some interviews with it and says, hey, what is wrong with this? And let's have a larger conversation about it. So next, let's queer up politics. J.D. Vance seeks support from gay tech billionaire Peter Thiel for Trump campaign. J.D. Vance, former President Donald Trump's running mate, is urging tech billionaire Peter Thiel to financially back the Trump-Vance campaign. Vance, who once worked for Thiel at Mithril Capital, has reached out to the gay tech mogul hoping to reignite his support after Thiel's previous $1.25 million contribution to Trump's 2016 campaign. In an interview with Financial Times, Vance emphasized Thiel's importance. Quote, I'm going to keep on talking to Peter and persuading him that, you know, he's obviously been exhausted by politics a little bit, but he's going to be really exhausted by politics if we lose and if Kamala Harris is president, right here at the table. Vance says that Thiel is a conservative and should actively support the Trump ticket. However, Thiel did not contribute to Trump in 2020 and rather expressed disappointment with Trump's presidency. Thiel has donated over $50 million to various candidates so far. At the Aspen Ideas Festival, Thiel mentioned he would vote for Trump, quote, if you hold a gun to my head, end quote, but prefers Trump over President Joe Biden with Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. Thiel's stance may change. Critics immediately noted the contradiction to many Vance anti-LGBTQ positions while asking for gay campaign money. Gay campaign money. Still to be determined will be who blinks first, the anti-LGBTQ vice presidential candidate or the gay billionaire that can make a difference for his own community. So Peter Thiel, the PayPal dude, you know, I had to listen to a few interviews of him because I wasn't exactly sure what his political stance was and what made him conservative. And so he did contribute in 2016, but that's back when J.D. Vance was saying that Trump was a Nazi. Yeah. So J.D. Vance is actually the one who's really changed his position. And now that money and power are to be had, he's like, oh, well, let me start sniveling at Peter Thiel's feet, even though Peter Thiel doesn't want to contribute to his campaign the same way you didn't want to be associated with his campaign until he endorsed you and you got elected. So J.D. Vance, I think, is a complete tool. And I don't even want to say his name or like go into anything, giving him any airtime. But Peter Thiel, so I was watching an interview with him about 2 months ago, and he hasn't really commented since Kamala Harris was replaced Joe Biden. So his issue with Joe Biden, where he's saying he's kind of an old guy, and the person who was interviewing him said, well, if you look at the past 4 years, you're a billionaire. Like, your stock portfolio is actually doing pretty well. So what is it that you're complaining about? What is the problem? And he said, well, I think, it might come to a surprise to everybody that I care more about than my stock portfolio and what billionaire tech's point of view is. So, well, what is your problem then? Well, crushing student debt is a major issue, and how they won't have the same opportunities. And he said, well, and you think Trump is going to fix that? He said, well, no, I don't think so. Oh my. So we're like, so he just kept giving reason after reason, which made absolutely no sense. And the fact that he's gay as well is just kind of it's a bizarre thing. And I cannot figure out Peter Thiel as I think he finally came to his senses and was like, if you put a gun to my head, I'll vote for him. But he won't say why he's worse than or that Biden was better. And he is by all the metrics that he was talking about. So I feel like there is something else going on behind the scenes as to why he was not coming out in support of Joe Biden instead of just being, the cagey with his analysis on Trump.
Of course there's more to it. That's white people behind closed doors. Of course there's more to it, okay? In 2021, I think it was Thiel who took Vance or vice versa to Mar-a-Lago to hash things out with Trump because they both hated him. This guy's worth $9.25 billion, okay? If they haven't already gotten some money from him, I'd be surprised. We just haven't been told about it yet,
But he made a J.D. Vance career. Peter Thiel bankroll. He's running for Ohio in the Senate.
When Vance hated Trump.
That's right. So, he's supported J.D. Vance for some reason since he was in tech out in Silicon Valley. So
way back when he was with a chair, not a couch.
Way back, right?
Had to.
So back when the hillbilly elegy, or even probably shortly after. So he's responsible for J.D. Vance.
Yeah, it seems as though he. So from this history from the 80s when he was at Stanford, he just had kind of this heart for conservatives in higher education. So I think he was looking at people like J.D. Vance and like, okay, here's kind of an up-and-coming guy. Like, let me support him.
Help him, yeah.
And that's where it seems to have, kind of gotten blown out of proportion that he's like really in with Trump. And now he just doesn't know how to dial it back. I don't know. Maybe you have a better idea.
Tell me.
I think J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel have one thing in common. They're both spare parts. Like, seriously, America will go on well, maybe even better after both have left the stage.
Yes, and I will say, J.D. Vance, from one actual VP to one aspiring VP, keep my goddamn motherfucking name out your motherfucking mouth, you rat-ass, nut-ass motherfucking bitch. You understand me? Because when I'm running this shit, I'll make sure you're in fucking sanitation, okay? Thank you so much.
Wow. As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We would also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Next, let's explore the West on a 10-day adventure from Vegas to Yosemite. Embark on a thrilling 10-day adventure with nonprofit HOTspots Happening Out Travel Club. Experience the dazzling vibe of Las Vegas, then venture into the stark beauty of Death Valley and the majestic landscapes of Yosemite. Witness the charm of Lake Tahoe and historic Virginia City before soaking up the vibrant culture of San Francisco. From the neon lights of Vegas to the serene grandeur of Yosemite, this journey blends excitement with natural splendor. Join us for a trip that promises unforgettable moments and supports a great cause. Book the April 13th or November 9th trips in 2025. Now available at happeningout.travel.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
We finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Omar Apollo stars naked with Daniel Craig in Queer. One of the most talked about movies of this year has to be the new film Queer, where singer Omar Apollo has a sex scene with Daniel Craig, aka James Bond. James Bond. The movie finally premiered this week at the Venice Film Festival. Queer stars Craig as William Lee, a 1940s American expat in Mexico City, obsessed with Eugene, who is played by Apollo. The film is based on William S. Burroughs' semi-autobiographical novel and has been hailed for Craig's career-defining performance. Omar is completely naked in most of the time that he is in the film.
Might make more sense if we did something
Why not?
Fucking doll. That's so touching. I don't take it personally. Just been striking out. I got it today. Oh, it's nice. You think so? Yes.
You know, I'm just happy that he's finally showing his 007 to somebody else.
Wow. Would you really think this is career defining for him, John?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
okay, I move on.
No.
Go, Dino.
Playing gay, playing gay will always mean, at least a nomination.
Like Philadelphia, you mean? So you play gay and
yeah.
you get
I mean,
an Oscar?
it worked for Tom Hanks.
Yeah. I'll play gay if I have to.
You are gay.
Whatever gets me there.
Whatever
Is
gets you to
Omar
White
the guy
House.
that we did the story on not too long
Yes.
ago where he said he liked ugly dudes?
I think it was.
He was like, I like an ugly guy just as much as a hot guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Only pretty people that look like Omar Apollo can say that. All right.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up politics. Provincetown gays are standing by Kamala Harris with Hoes for Harris. Cody Dito, a gay fitness instructor from Pittsburgh, enjoyed a lively Labor Day weekend in Provincetown with his fiancée, Dennis, and their best friend. Mike. The trio are showing support and creating controversy for supporting Kamala Harris in the upcoming election. They organized a type of campaign by wearing Hoes for Harris t-shirts they had purchased online. These shirts became a hit in P-Town. Dito said, quote, "We were stopped about 50 to 60 times by people wanting photos and expressing support. This election has too many consequences for our country. We are not political advocates. We are everyday working gays. We pay our bills, own homes, take care of our dogs, and like to have fun on vacation." The viral pictures had an explosion of negative reaction for radical Twitter and other social media. This election, we want to see more hoes for Harris. And you know what?
What?
The hoes stand by me, and I stand by the hoes. Because you know what I once was?
What?
A hoe supporter. I love them all. That's why I love you, Faye.
Because I'm a hoe. Because
You
I'm
are my bottom bitch girl.
What kind of hose? Like the kind you take out of the egg shell?
No. A hoe. The other kind of hoe.
I want those hoes.
The one you are when the
like at the Home Depot?
No. The one you are at Rod on Saturday afternoon.
Whatever hoe you are, I'm going to take your vote, baby.
And listen, those boys were like, oh, they stopped me 50 or 60 times. They didn't stop you 50 or 60 times because of the t-shirts. It's because you had no bottoms on. That's why.
That's true.
That's why.
I want those hoes. I want those hoes, okay?
As do I in the booth, voting for me. Thank you so much.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up lesbian culture with this lesbian. Lesbian comedian Ellen DeGeneres' final comedy show is set to release on Netflix. Ellen DeGeneres is set to release her final comedy special, Ellen DeGeneres for Your Approval, on Netflix. The day has finally been announced for September 24th. The special, which marks her return to stand-up after 6 years, will address her controversial exit from showbiz following allegations of mistreatment behind the scenes of her talk show. DeGeneres promises to delve into these issues with her signature humor, touching on everything from celebrity life to mundane daily challenges. According to DeGeneres, this one-off show will be her last, closing the chapter on her historic career. I don't believe it's going to be her last. I think she's going to do it like Cher. If they offer her 3 more last shows, she's going to do it, okay? Because, hello, Portia looks like high maintenance.
I'm not really thrilled about her explaining all the stuff that happened. First off, if you do a show for that many years, you're going to piss some people off along the way. Like, I'm not Ellen hating at all. But if you're really going to delve into it, you really should do it in a place where you don't control the narrative like you do in a one-man stand-up. She needs to sit down with Dave Letterman, another Netflix star, and which is more of a conversation than an interview style. And I think that would be a better way for her to come back. That said, I look forward to watching the special.
You're still going to watch it. You said all that bad shit, and you're still going to watch it.
I'm not going to watch it.
Because you're against lesbians. I know it, Trini. That's why. Just tell me. No,
well, if there was a lesbian at the table, I probably...
Oh, my God.
Hi.
But,
hello.
But I like you, I don't care at all about the, she's a mean person, I don't like her, I'm sure that's blown out of proportion. I just don't find her funny. I find like her jokes to be just a little bit too like mom humor. Like I need something a little grittier, a little nastier, and just kind of her saying, this is my final swan song. I'll be doing my last comedy special. It just kind of annoys me for some reason. I'm like, first of all, you're not 80 years old. Like, you have the rest of your life to do.
She's pretty up there, though.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah, but she's like 60-something, right?
Yeah.
She's got another 20 years of doing specials and whatever she wants to do. I probably won't watch it unless I have nothing else to do and I'm flipping through the channels and it's on. But I don't hate you. Have a good run.
She needs another Finding Nemo. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so she needs to come back. She didn't deserve to be canceled.
Didn't they do like a Finding Nemo with just her? No, right?
Yeah, it was Finding Dory.
Finding Dory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the bluefish.
But she needs another one.
Another one. Finding Dory again.
Yeah, again to come back. I mean, to come back from all that crap. So yeah.
But it's been too long though. But it's been too long at this point, right? Since all that happened, to be like, I'm with John though. Doing it on her terms is a little shady.
Let me give you a little advice, Ellen. Like, you trying to be the nice chick all the time, like that's not what's gonna work for you. You need to be a mean lesbian. Like lean into it. Like your special should be like, and that's why I was canceled.
That's right.
Like, and everybody
I felt like it.
Exactly. Something like that. That's gonna be comedy gold, and you're gonna get a whole bunch of specials.
You're onto something.
You're onto something.
You're onto something here.
That's right. And I, Kamala, love lesbians.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, uses gay slur in video. Fans are outraged. Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, is facing significant backlash online after using a gay slur during a TikTok live session. The couple was in a music studio when the incident occurred. While Nicki advised fans not to let others steal their joy, Kenneth added, quote, especially little faggots or fuckboys, end of quote. The response was swift, with many fans expressing outrage, particularly because Nicki didn't correct him. Given Nicki's substantial LGBTQ fan base, the incident has sparked disappointment and criticism, with many questioning her commitment to supporting her queer fans. I'm one of the opinion that I think she has a gay following for no reason. I don't see her, gay ally support. So that's me. So, she may as well.
It's funny how he was the one to be in the midst of controversy, because he's no stranger to controversy, because this man was convicted of sexual assault with a minor. Mm-hmm. So he has a lot going on right now. So I don't understand why faggot is like fresh on his tongue. Maybe you should be focusing on staying out of the camera, staying out of the limelight, staying out of children's DMs. I don't know, something like that.
Staying out of jail.
Staying out of jail.
Did you have prosecuted him, Kamala?
With the swiftness. I do not tolerate men at all. Any one of them, especially this one, especially Trump. All men and heterosexuals, I'll see you in prison from the other side of the bar. I'm gonna lock you up.
Let's see. Okay, so Nicki Minaj does have a huge LGBTQ following, right? Yeah. Okay, it is what it is. And, if you are an ally, right, or anybody in LGBTQ plus community, it is your freaking job to correct when your friends say dumb shit like that. Okay, that's the bottom line. And it's Nicki Minaj's job to correct her man.
Right.
Or come out with a follow-up video saying, hey, he said what he said, and and I don't appreciate it, and I don't support what he said. All right, you're not gonna change the man one day to another either. But she's gotta voice something and say something for us.
And it's not 2012 anymore. She's not the only bad bitch in town for gays to we've got Cardi B. Yep. We've got
Kamala Harris. Sorry.
We got Beyonce. We got everybody.
Yeah. So
speaking of Beyonce, happy birthday, Beyonce.
Happy birthday.
She is an ally.
That is an ally right there.
9481.
Whoop whoop.
She lets me use her music in my campaign.
Freedom.
LGBTQ 1-minute news. Let's queer up health. Does size matter? Study links self-perception to mental health. A new study published in The Aging Male reveals a link between men's self-perception of their genital size and their mental health. The research involved heterosexual men with an average age of 47. Findings show that men with low confidence in their genitalia were more prone to depression, anxiety, and reduced sexual satisfaction. Conversely, those who felt more endowed reported a positive self-image. Researcher Adil Emrah Sonbahar emphasized the need for further studies to explore these effects across different sexual orientations. The current study involved only heterosexual participants, hence whether gay men go through the same feelings is still to be determined. So I will give the first comment to the aging male at the table. Bonnie Builder, how do you feel about this?
Well, I don't know where you see aging or male, but I know Bonnie Builder, according to the story, is in a very good mood all the time. Now, you've been looking a little down in the dumps lately. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I was born great.
That's right. Paint that smile on, girl, because it's not real.
Oh my God. Okay.
Don't let my Wellbutrin prescription fool you.
Oh.
You're what?
But listen, I do think that there is a certain kind of swag, there's a certain kind of confidence when a man is happy with his size. Like, I think Obama has the biggest schlong ever because he just has this swag and he just walks and when he talks. And like Michelle always seems very happy. You know what I mean? So I think there is something to do with that. I mean, and again, boys at the table, how do you know if your penis is smaller or small or average? Like, I didn't know the average size of a penis until I saw a few of them.
That's what
gay porn. The answer is gay porn, by the way.
That's why you go to the bathhouse to compare sizes.
But
yeah,
you're old enough to go to a bathhouse,
porn,
you know?
There's porn, but
gay
usually
porn.
the ones in porn are a little bigger than the average. I actually...
Are you happy with your size?
You know what? I was going to tell a story, but I'm not going to do it. But yeah, the short answer is yes, I'm happy.
So you need the long answer.
Yeah, but you're a bottom, so it doesn't matter whether it's big or
that's
small.
Not actually true either.
He's verse all day.
That's not true either. Well, that's today's news for the LGBT community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ evening news show.
We're ridiculous. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We, and I, need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world and vote in November.
This is the only place in the world that tells these type of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of HOTspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Kamala Harris, Bonnie Builder, John Hayden, Dino Mosquera, and TriniDaddy. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And we remind you, the presidential election is just 62 days away. You see my pin? Stand up for equality, rights, and representation. Make sure you're registered and ready to cast your ballot. Let's make history.
Yep.
Let's vote for a better future. And before we go, we have a special interview.
Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Out for Harris campaign kicks off in Florida, where Nadine Smith talks to Queer News Tonight. Democrats this week launched the Out for Harris campaign in Florida, aiming to rally LGBTQ voters ahead of the upcoming election. The event in Fort Lauderdale was hosted by Team Harris Walls, hello, for Florida, featuring notable figures like Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Fort Lauderdale Mayor Dean Trantelis, and actor B.D. Wong, and Equality Florida's Nadine Smith. Queer News Tonight anchor FayWhat had access to talk to Nadine Smith about her views on the election and what is at stake.
Hey everyone, it's FayWhat from Queer News Tonight and of course, the FayWhat Show. Thanks to HOTspots and Happening Out. So we're here at Out for Kamala, okay? We're here at Sunshine Cathedral and I am here with the beautiful Miss Nadine Smith, ED of Equality Florida. Woman, what a year we've had, right? And it's only August. Oh my God, it's just about to be September and it's been such a whirlwind of a year.
It has been.
And here we are supporting the K, you know, making sure that our girl is the next president of the United States. How do you feel right now, Nadine, as a woman of color, as a woman? Like, I know for me, when Biden, so gracefully stepped down, I was so appreciative to him. But I was like, it's our time, all right? Women, let's stand up. Let's fight. Let's make this happen.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it has been a sea change. You know, we've been saying in Florida, after years and years of being attacked by Ron DeSantis and the MAGA, Project 25 experiment that's unfolding in our state, we've been saying we are going to turn the tide, not just here in Florida, but for the nation. Because Americans, just like Floridians, we're tired of the politics of division, of spitefulness. We're tired of censorship and surveillance. We're tired of book bans. We are sick and tired of everything that the DeSantises and the Trumps of this world want to sell to the American people while they ignore the problems that are actually impacting our lives. And so what we're seeing in Florida is everything that should signal to the country that a wave is coming. We aren't just turning the tide, we're building a wave for a future that includes us all. And we saw it just, here in Florida in August during the primary where if you were endorsed by Moms for Liberty or Ron DeSantis, that was the kiss of death. His candidates are getting beaten. The people on the ground are really, pushing back against this political operation called Moms for Liberty. And we're taking back our schools from these extremists, and we're tired of not only the censorship and the book bans, but the corruption. You cannot even keep track of the number of scandals that our governor's pretending he doesn't know anything about, right? Because when you have this kind of power, the kind of power that Trump wants to have as a president, and the kind of power that DeSantis has amassed here in Florida, you always have corruption. So it should shock no one that the University of Florida, president has resigned in disgrace, has built millions, has directed funds to his cronies. Ron DeSantis has been doing that in broad daylight, and he's following the same game plan as Donald Trump, which is find a scapegoat, attack them relentlessly so that nobody pays attention to how you're lining your own pockets. But the good news is people have gotten wise. They're pushing back.
Yeah.
This is why we were able to beat 21 out of the 22 bad bills that they sent. This is why we're winning elections, and this is why Kamala Harris has put Florida in play.
Yes, she has. Yes, she has. Do you feel the vigor? Do you feel like the rejuvenation of everyone? You know. So our August primaries just passed, and unfortunately, 20% of people came out to vote. Right? People need to be more focused on the November elections and make sure that they come out in droves. You know, we've also got in Florida that we're voting for legalizing marijuana. We're also talking about reproductive rights. You
Absolutely.
know? How important is it to get out there to vote in November?
You know, people always think of the presidential as the big game, and they're going to show up for the big game. We need them to show up before the big game too, but I can feel the energy building in our state. It's building for the top of the ticket, but it's also building for the fact that we can break the supermajority in the legislature that has greenlit all of these terrible, terrible bits of legislation. We are in a position to, send a clear message to politicians everywhere by showing up, by reversing the ban on abortion. And, at the end of the day, we should be making our own medical decisions, not the governor, not the legislature. That's true when it comes to abortion. That's true when it comes to parents finding the best medical path for their kids. That is a parent's decision to make, not lawmakers, not the governor. And we have the ability to send this message that we're not going to let the experiment called Project 2025 that they've been unleashing and wreaking havoc in our state. Not only are we going to undo it, we're going to stop it from spreading further. And we're going to stop Trump from ever occupying the White House again.
Yes.
And we're going to celebrate President Kamala Harris.
Yes, we will. Yes, Ms. Nadine Smith from Equality Florida, our Executive Director at Equality Florida. Incredible day here out for Kamala at Sunshine Cathedral.